Hello, Connie?
Yes.
Okay.
Am I speaking with John?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Because
John, actually.
what happened was only now that microphone light turned green again. For some time it was green, then it again.
Oh no, actually, okay. What happened was there was some background noise on the line, and it was coming from your end. So I just messaged you to asking you to mute yourself, but I think you did not see the messages, so I muted you from my end. All right.
Okay.
So I think everything seems to be fine. You can start now, Ashish. Meanwhile, I'll just get in touch with Victor. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Thanks, Ashish.
Okay, so class, yeah, welcome. Yeah, we can start now. Okay, so in the last session we just discussed about how to create class, and we saw some of the features related to the package, and we can create classes in different packages and all. And we just went over some of the concept related to the instance variable. So in today's class, what we are going to discuss, I'm just writing here so that we can keep a track, right? So first we'll talk about variable scope, little more about that. Then we'll talk about auto boxing and wrapper class, right? Okay, and then we will go over the control statements. Okay, and we'll talk about operators. I'm just telling all these topics for today, but it is not like that we are not going to touch upon these topics later on. We will have to touch upon these topics later on also. Yeah, but our main focus for today is to cover these topics. Okay, so I hope that everybody can hear, and you can see the screen as well. Few people, I learned from Kani that Victor is not able to do that, so probably she is helping out, and and we can continue. So what is the status of Victor, Kani? Can you hear us now? Kani? Okay, I think she is helping out. No problem. Right. So yeah. So I just went to the view menu. Sorry, not view. I went to the Windows menu, and I wanted to show the package explorer. We have project explorer already, but I just wanted to open the package explorer so you can go into the view and you can type package. There are a lot of views in Eclipse, as you can see, like general bookmark, progress flag. So many things are there for related to the data management, related to the CVS, API, Java browsing, Java. So many views are there. Views are basically just to help you to initiate some of the commands on the resource, and the resource could be like your data connection, your JDK, or your project structure. It can be anything, right? Like I installed the JBoss tools, and it is giving me all the different views. So I just went here. This is my package view, and I just click OK. Right? Oh, probably I have choose the different. Yeah, Sunil, you are saying something? Okay. So, okay, no problem. So let us go into the new and then project, right? And let's choose the Java project as we have seen earlier. Now we are going to talk about the variables and variable scope. Here I choose the default JRE, which is one. I hope everybody has downloaded Eclipse and you people have set up the Java as well, right?
I couldn't do it properly. I'll work with you later, but for some reason.
I actually I had some problems in the Eclipse went okay, but I had problems in importing the JBoss Central Ashish. But I realized later it was because of my Norton's antivirus. I had to temporarily disable it, and then I was able to import the JBoss tools for my version of Eclipse. So now I'm okay, but I think what happened was I was just trying to run that Hello World and things like that and explore a little bit, but I lost the basic workspace, the way it looks for you. I lost that appearance, so I'll have to go and just get back the what you have, the workbench appearance. I wanted to remain in that, but I lost it, so I think I can have to go and get it again, configure it or whatever. I think, right?
No, if you have installed Eclipse and if you have set up the JDK, the perspective or the workbench appearance is not a deal. You can do it easily.
Okay.
I'm just creating a new Java project right now.
Okay.
But if you...
Okay.
Yeah. So probably by following this screencast, you can do... It's very minor issue, yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I can see like Sunil is not able to start, so maybe he is getting some error related to JVM or what error you are getting, by the way, Sunil? You are getting something like that it cannot start, it cannot find JVM.dll or something?
It starts, but it sends some weird message.
Okay.
I will send
the moment.
I can share you the screen if you want me, but I don't want to disrupt you while you're talking. But I can, if you can finish it up, I can.
So let's do one thing. Let's do one thing. After this session ends, then probably we'll investigate what is the problem at your end. Okay?
Yes, I'm actually currently managing with something called I don't know if that is causing the issue. I have another IDE called Dr. Java.
Okay.
I downloaded it long time, but anyway, I will wait for you. Once you finish this, you can work with me. Because I don't want to for the rest of the folks who are already working, I don't want to disrupt.
Sure. That's wonderful. Yeah. Okay. So I have created a project here called variable scope, and it is giving me the SRC directory by default, leaving the other settings as it is, and we will work on those settings as and when required. But let's click on the finish, and we can see the default output is going to be bin folder, right? Now here, John, you can just have a chance here to change your perspective to the Java, right? Whenever you create a project, it will by default ask you to choose the right perspective. Okay. By default it comes in a J2EE perspective. Now I am creating only the Java project, so it is asking me, do you want to open this perspective now? Yes.
Okay,
and I can say remember my decision also. So later on, whenever I create the only Java project, right, where I am not using servlet or anything else, it will just open into the Java perspective.
Okay.
So if you want, any point of time you go to window and you can just change to the perspective, right? Debug, Java browsing, JavaScript, web development, there are different perspectives. You can choose from here also. Okay?
Yeah. Okay, sure. Thank you.
So now, welcome. Now we have created this project called variable scope, and I think we just wrote one program into the last session, but let me just explore this for you guys more, right? So I'm just creating a Java package here, or let us create this thing directly, the class. You can create the package and then you can create class, or you can go for a class directly, because here also you have an option to apply or to specify the package name. So my package name here is the test scope, right? Sorry, this is my class name. I have to provide the package name here. Yes, and then variable scope. Okay, and okay, I want the okay, which method stub you would like to create? We want this public static void main. So I'm saying, okay, just create this method for me. Constructor from the superclass if you are extending any superclass, but you are not extending because Java object is there already, because every class just extend the object, right? So it is okay. If we are choosing any custom type, then probably we can say, yeah, constructor from the superclass too. We'll see that. That is, click on finish. Then it is going to create a class which is something like this, right? And for your simplicity, it is generating all these to-do list also, right? So if you go in the task list, you will find this to-do list. But I mean, all these things are just for helping us out, but we will see it later. Now, our main objective here in this particular variable scope is to understand the scope. As I said earlier, that the scope start with the curly braces. So the variable which I am defining here would be accessible inside this particular curly braces only, right? So how many kind of variables are there in the Java? So there are member variables or member instance variable.
Ashish sir,
Yep.
I have a quick question
Yes.
actually. If you click all of
Yeah,
that previous one,
yes.
public static void main and all of this, will there be a problem for the memory allocation, or what can be the problem?
Memory allocation.
Okay.
I don't get your question.
That
Means when
that you said it can be inherited from the superclass public static void main, and the second one, if you click all three of that when you're actually creating that, so will that be a problem for the memory allocation, or what can be the actually the problem? Like, which method would you like to create? So if I click all of these three, then what can I mean, what is the problem then?
no problem at all. These are the options.
Okay.
These are the options which Eclipse is giving you.
Okay.
Like you want to create, because Eclipse is IDE, right? It is just there to help the developer to increase the productivity. Okay. Now suppose you are creating everything with your bare hand. It will take a lot of time to create, or just typing, spelling mistakes, those things. Of that, suppose if you are creating a class and you want that class should run independently as in a Java application, then you have to have a public static void main method, right? So you are just selecting it out that I want this method. Whenever Eclipse is creating a new class for me, please create this method also, right? Now suppose if I am extending a particular class here, we'll talk about inheritance, but suppose if I am extending a particular class here and I want that Eclipse should generate those constructors for me. Suppose I am just extending, for an example, the string class, okay, and package is this, and this is my string. So what I am saying, Eclipse to create a class called myString, and this class scope would be public. This is a public class. The super class for this class is a string class, and please generate the following things for me. The constructors from the superclass, inherited abstract methods. If any methods are there which are abstract, just inherit those and generate it for me. Because later on, if abstract method is there in the class, I have to write it. So what I am doing here, I am just minimizing my typing efforts by saying all this. If I click finish here, then what will happen? It will generate this class called mystring.java, okay, and then it will have these things. What is that? Oh, yeah, maybe I just choose the wrong class, because it's string, you cannot subclass, it's a final class, but still it is generating these things for you. Getting my point? And when I said the documentation, yeah. Victor, it was you, right, who asked this question?
Sir, it's Kabir.
Oh, sorry, Kabir. Yeah, Kabir. So
Yes.
there is no memory problem. Probably if you are seeing here not responding for some time, it is because my laptop. There are number of other threads which are running on the system. It is because of that. If you see the CPU usage, then probably yeah, it is 69%. I have very less memory, that is 3 GB only, right?
Okay.
But I am running Node.js, I am running the other sophisticated software. So because of that, it is happening. But it's not in general, right?
Okay.
Okay. So let's go back to okay, leave it there, not a problem. So here, what I was talking about that how many kinds of variables we can define inside a Java. Okay. So first thing is the member variable or the instance variable. The instance variables are defined directly inside the class. So let's say member variables, right? So whatever I am defining here, like int x, this is my instance variable because it is outside of the function. If I have a function here which is called public int add, right? And what this function does, it will simply add the value into this and it will return back. Simple. Okay. If I have to use this function, what I have to do, variable scope s is equal to new variable. So I need to create an object here. Okay, and then I will say s dot add simply. If I have another function which is just going to subtract this, so I can say x is equal to x minus 1. Then return I'm sorry, the screen got fluctuated. Okay, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Great, great. So the concept here is that if you are defining a member or instance variable, then it would be accessible in all the functions which are defined inside the class. Okay. Similar way, you can see the subtract also. I think till here everybody is fine, right? There is no problem. It's a simple. Oh, there is an error. What is the error? Oh, it is complaining about the my string. I'm just deleting this file. I don't want this file right now. Right. So earlier the value, we did not initialize any value here, but if it is a member variable, means the instance variable, then it would be initialized by, please tell, so what is that? What to tell? Okay. So Sunil, Victor and John, please mute yourself, okay? Because the background noise is coming.
I lost
Right?
that. I lost that ability to mute myself. I don't know because I just have
No,
Yeah. Same here. I can't mute myself. That's what I'm
exactly that earlier what we had in the previous class, that control is gone. There's one
Yes, I agree.
bottom right hand corner. There is a green icon which says I'm connected and always says speak into the microphone, but doesn't allow me to disconnect. So I don't know what has changed.
Sir,
Yeah,
the thing is
chart
that
list
if
also
you
we
just
have that option. We have all the we could be able to see everyone and right click on it and mute, but we are not able to do it right
Yeah,
now.
we don't have that screen where we could see everybody else who's muted, who's not muted. That is gone. It's disappeared.
actually there is a fourth tab, quick start info Ashish Verma Excel framework. If you just click on the quick start, you will find it out. There is actually 3 tabs again come. So for audio,
You want me to wait it? Quick start, yes.
quick
Connect
start.
to audio, yes.
And if you connect to the audio, there is actually one speaker and one is actually for microphone. So you can just tap on that.
Click on the microphone, so it would be mute, right?
Yes.
Okay, so hoping you guys will do it. Yeah, here if you see the output of this program, it is like we did not initialize the value of the variable, but in the add function, what we are doing, we are adding one. In subtract function, we are doing subtracting by 1. So what I did, I created the object of this particular class, and then I called add function first and then the subtract, right? Since it's a member variable, so it will by default initialize with the default value, and for integer the default value is 0. Even for long it is 0, the other variant of the integer value, right? So that way this logic makes sense. So 0 plus 1 is equal to 1, 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. So that is why the output is coming 1 0. Okay. Now let us do some interesting thing in this particular program. What I want to do here is I want to create another x variable, right? The moment I write x here in the add function, I can see one problem here. And what it is saying, the local variable x may not have been initialized. Now, this x has become a local variable because whenever you define a variable inside a particular function, the scope of the variable would be that curly braces, the opening curly braces and the closing curly braces of that particular function. So this is the scope, and since it is defined inside a function, so it is termed as local variable. It's not an instance variable, and for local variable, Java does not initialize by default, right? Local variable does not get initialized. So that is why the compiler or this thing. What is this? You guys can see my screen? Hello?
No, sir, we can.
Yeah, it disappeared suddenly.
You can see my screen now?
No.
What about now?
Not yet. No. Just a black,
Now it came.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Oh, it is the internet. Right. So
Okay.
the output, what would be the output here? If I run this program again, then I will see 4 because I initialize local variable with 4 and then I'm saying x plus this dot x, that is 0 because by default it will initialize with 0, then it will become 4, right? And what is happening here? Here what we are doing, x is equal to x minus 1. Here the x is nothing but your class level, the instance variable. Okay. So what it will say, 0 minus 1 is equal to minus 1. So it is showing minus 2. Correct? Any problems so far? Okay, let us make it little bit more complicated. I have a x here. Then what I do, I start one block. As I said, the scope start with the block, right? So what I will do here, I will say another x is equal to 5 or maybe, yeah, let's say 5. But what is the problem here? Duplicate local variable. So if you are defining a variable name and with the same name you are defining a variable name inside a local function, that works. But if you try to do the same trick into the local function, into the function for local variables, then it will just give you this error. Okay, so this holds good between the class, means the member variables, and the local variables, but it is not holding good for the same function for the same local variable. Understood?
Yeah.
Okay. Now so this is about the variable scope. We'll touch upon this and we will talk about how we can pass the object into the different method. How to pass object into the different method. By the time also we will touch upon this. Now it is the time to discuss the next topic, that is auto boxing and the wrapper class. Before going into that auto boxing and wrapper classes, let me first cover the control statements. Any questions so far?
No.
I have created a package called test.control statement. Okay. Now I'll create a class here and let us talk about the single or the sequence statement. I want to generate this public static void main so okay. So basically there are three type of statements which any programming can provide you, except the graphic programming or graph language based programming. Basically there you have some more data structure, but at I would say like object level or the assembly level, basically there are three kind of statements. First is a sequence statement, second is a selection statement, and third is repetitive statements. I don't know how to do this. Repetitive statements. Repetitive. Okay. So sequence statements are like the normal statement whatever we write into the Java program, because the computer program is supposed to execute sequentially, top to bottom approach, right? I mean, it was the case earlier, but in object oriented there is no top to bottom. Even the variable which you are, in this case, suppose the variable which you are defining here, probably you can define it last also, then also it will work, right? So you can define it anywhere. It has to be part of the class, then it will give the output. By saying the top to bottom approach means logically from the point where your program is starting, right? It will start step by step. It will start on the first statement first, then the second statement, the third statement, fourth statement, five, and like that, and so on. So it will go sequentially. Okay. Now, if I see the example, then here we have an example. This is my first statement, this is the second statement, this is the third statement for this particular entry point. But if I go into the detail for this variable scope, so probably what compiler will do, compiler will add one constructor. If we are not adding, then compiler will add this constructor by default with the class. So whenever you create an object, the constructor will get called very first. So you can do some initialization here if you want, something like this. And after that, whatever function you call, suppose I am calling add function, then it will go into the add, then it will again start a sequence. After that you are calling the subtract function, then it will start the sequence. So what happens, once your control come to this line, then it goes there in the variable scope, then come back here, right? Then again when it is on this line, it goes there, come back here, goes there, come back here, and finally it reaches to the end of this main function, and after that there is nothing, and the program will exit, the program will finish. If you want to see this in action, we can see in the debug mode. Let us put a debug point there. Just putting a debug point, like you just double click here. So this is my debug point, break point. Okay, let's put a break point basically, and you can click here. This is also a break point. This is also a break point, and this is also a break point, right? I have put a break point on the places, the starting of each and every function. Now I need to run this program in the debug mode to see how exactly the flow is going on. The control is going from one function to another function. So let us do this. Debug variable scope. Click on this button. So it is asking to save the resources. First I say okay. So once you click here, this is asking for permission for first time publishing. So say allow access. Once you do this, again ask you for this perspective switch, because now you are going to change your perspective to the debug mode. So you say okay, remember my decision, fine. Now once you are in debug mode, the program, the perspective has been changed basically. You can see the debug window here, right? You can see your program here, and this green line is indicating that this SOA is also telling the same thing. You have the outline also, and this is the console, and this is your variables window. Whenever it will encounter any variable, it will show the values here. You can see the breakpoints here. We'll talk about this debug window, but this is how it works. Now, this is your commands to basically drive your control line. So if I click on this, step over, okay, so what it will do, but since I have a debug point over there in the constructor, then it will go there. See this, right? Here you can see the runtime process view of the program. What it is showing, this is the Java application name, level scope. This is the actual path. So it is localhost, and this is the running position inside, and then this is the main thread and telling all those things came here. From main function, from main to main function, it is here. So it is so did I. What that? What guys?
Hello, Ashish, can you hear me now? Hello? Sunil, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, John, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you, but I don't know what happened to Mr. Ashish's screen.
I think he can't hear us, I think. It looks like.
Oh, you can't even hear us. Yeah, looks like, because it's still asking us to talk something.
Somebody speak something, yes. I think he should actually go out from the meeting and then again enter.
Yeah, probably, I'm not sure. Maybe you have to restart it. It looks like it's frozen. Oh, it's like can here, so.
I can hear you now.
Okay.
We can hear you now as well.
Yes, we can hear you.
What happened? Suddenly.
You said your computer is low on.
Okay.
Okay.
So
No, it's better. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what happened. Okay, so we were just doing this, right? So now we are at this point. We go here. It just finished the constructor. It is coming here, going to the add function, and just initializing the value, returning x, coming here, going to this function. So that way you can see the program is just running into the sequential mode. Oh, it is going into the exit class as well, right? So we can just say leave it. So we have these statements. I am just changing perspective to Java again. Sequence, we just arrange the statements in sequence, and then the selection and the repetitive statements, right? Talk about the selection statements. The selection statements are like and then
Yes,
we have
your voice is breaking for some reason. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
okay. I think it's because of now how is it better now?
Yeah. Right now it's better. Just now it's better. Just now.
Okay. Yeah, maybe it is the internet which is fluctuating. I don't know. I'm just speaking in the same intensity all the time. Okay, so there are three statements in the Java which are for selection purpose. These two are, it's like a single selection, it is a double selection, it is a multiple selection, right? It's a single selection and it is double selection, and this one is a multi selection. Is it the voice is fine, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Now we will talk about all these selections like single, double, and multi selection. So if the syntax for this is basically you have a if, and then you have some statement, and here you specify some condition, and condition should be a boolean. The output of that condition should be a boolean. Now let us say this thing, and then I have something called system.out.println, right? And some of these statements. Condition or the single selection. System. Oh. System. Okay, again it is complaining for local variable not initialized, blah blah blah, right? So let us initialize this with the default value or with the values which we want. False. Boolean will have true or false, right? Boolean may have true or false. what we are saying here, if condition, then print this. But the output of the condition is what? False. So what will happen? Will this statement execute? No, because the single selection if is basically checking for this condition. If this condition is true, then only it is going inside the if and printing this particular statement. Now let us say this thing. I am audible, right? Okay.
Yes.
Now what I am doing here, I am saying condition is equal to false. This is my condition now. This is equal to we use to say equals. Like in mathematics we say x is equal to 2, right? That is the assignment. But if we have to check whether x is equal to 2 or not, then we say x is equal to 2. In the same way we are saying if condition is equal to false, right, then go for this. Now here what will happen, it will check the values. It is false and it is also false, right? Then what will happen? Will it show this statement? Let us see. It could be interesting actually.
No, I don't think, right?
No, it will. Why it will
Okay.
not?
No, I thought
It will show.
my understanding was
The
that for
condition-
Boolean conditions, we just check straight away the okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is odd. I mean,
Construct.
in programming,
It's an odd
barely you
construct.
will, yeah, that is okay, not a problem. But just to clear the concept,
Okay.
whether it is false, that is fine. But this condition result is true
Okay, got it.
because it is giving the true result, right?
Yeah.
So this is a single statement if, and you don't want to put a curly braces here. If there is only one statement, right, you don't have to put curly braces. But if there are multiple statements, then yes, you have to enclose this block. Correct?
Okay.
Now if suppose if I define a variable here, x is equal to 5, right, and what I say here is that system dot out dot println, right, or printf, whatever, or just copy from here. I am just displaying the x value here. Okay, and then what I'm saying here, x is equal to x plus 2. And here also I have one variable called x, which is 9. Okay. And here also I am printing x. Just for recap, why it is not accessible? Cannot make a static reference to the non-static field x. This is another area which I want to highlight here, because we are always working with public static void main. See, if a function is static, right, so it needs or it can only access the static members. When we say a function is static, means what? Well, just let me give a quick information regarding the static. But static is a big topic. I just wanted to cover in the separate class. It is okay. If a function is static, or if a class member is static in the class, then there is no need, or it should be say like the static members can be accessed without creating the object of that particular class. Just pay attention on this. Okay, let me just do this. Let me comment this part. Let me first tell you or little bit static. What I'm saying here is, if a class member is a static member, then to access that member, whether it is a variable or the integer x or whatever, or it is a function, right? There is no need to create a object of that class if you want to access that. By having said that, right, now just pay attention on this function. This function is public static void main. Public is saying that this function can be accessed outside the world, means through the object you can access this function because it is a public. Void is saying it is not returning anything. This function does not return any value, so that we don't have a return statement here, right? Main is the name of function and these are the arguments, and here it is static, which is saying this function is static, so that when you are creating or when you are invoking this function, there is no need to create object of the class in which it is enclosed. It is enclosed in the sequence statement class. So if I have to call this function, I don't have to create an object of this particular class. So how I can create this? I can do something like this. I can say, if I have to call this, then I can say sequence statement dot main by passing a string argument. Something I can pass, and then it could be called. So by doing this, what is the benefit? Benefit is Java executor. First thing is, a Java executor always look for a main function, because the main is a starting point for Java, right? As far as the Java application, independent applications are concerned, the main function is the starting point of Java. So whenever you say Java particular class name, it try to find out the main function first. If it finds, then it start executing, otherwise it will throw an exception by saying that I did not find a main function in your class, right? So main function is there. But to call a function, you need to create an object of that class. But Java doesn't want to create an object for your class, because Java is not supposed to create any object until unless it is not required. And just to run your class, it doesn't want to create any object. It just want to run the class, because the object what you are creating, it can be a singleton or it can be a other type of objects. Singleton we will talk later, it's a design pattern which says that there should be only one object of a class into the JVM. If Java is doing that, say for example, if it is creating an object on behalf of you, then it is breaking one design pattern, it is breaking a rule. What Java needs to do, it just needs to run your logic, right? So by telling it static, by making this function static, we are saying no need to create any object, you can directly call this function. So far, if a static function is there, so you can directly access without creating the object of that class. Now, when we are doing this x is equal to x plus 2, right? So what is happening here? Since static is also imposing, hello, some sound is coming. Static is also imposing one more thing, that a static member or static function can access only static values. And that was the reason, if you see the earlier program, right, that was the reason, just to access this particular function, add function, we just created the object of variable scope, because this function is not static, right? And if we have to access this, either we can access through object or it has to be static. So we had to create the object of this particular function, and then we can call this. So let's not deviate from the main topic, but just to make you understand about this static. So for the time being, what I'm doing here, I'm making this instance variable as static. The moment I make it static, the error goes off. Okay, what would be the output here? Basically, just tell me the output. Just you know,
11.
write on the chat window. What would be the output? 11. Okay. What about the other guys? No, first X and the second X, both output I want.
First, okay.
First is 11. First would be 5, right? And second would be 11.
11, yeah.
You guys are agree on this?
Yes.
Oh, it is still running the old program. Let me run sequence. Selection statement is coming, 5 is coming, and 11 is coming. Yeah, because the same concept applies here also, right? Okay. Now, what if I this is a single statement. I can have like if condition is equal to true, then do something. Otherwise, else. Go into the else part and do something else. Now, when I am saying condition is equal to true, I don't have to write it basically. I can simply say condition. Okay. Because by default condition, if it is suppose okay, if it is false, then this block will be false, and it will not go inside the if. If I have suppose the same statements here, the block is false because my condition value is false, so it will not go here, it will come here. Okay. Okay. Now what would be the output?
3 and 11.
This is double selection. No. What is it?
3
and 11.
Yeah.
Why? And what about this? What about this? This will also come, or this will not come? This
No,
block will execute.
No, that'll come also. 5, 3 and 11.
5, 3 and 11. Yeah, the single selection is saying 5, but double selection is saying 3. But here we can define these two variables, right? Yes. The same name variable into the if else block, because this is also a block, and this X, its scope is limited to this block only, right? It cannot be accessed outside of that. So this is a double selection. Now let's say we'll create one program where basically we are just okay. Let me cover the switch case also before coming to the loops. I am creating one more class here that is called switch selection. See, that way if we want, we can construct one more block. We have if else, right? Now what we can do, if condition is equal to false, right? And to write this thing, I have another shortcut. I can say like this also. Okay. This is also another way to write the same thing what I have written here. See, the value, it is a negate operator. So what will happen? The condition value is false. The negate will do the opposite. Okay? It will make it true. So the block will become true. And whatever you will write here, it will execute. Oh. What is this here? See? Okay. But what about this thing? Now what would be the output?
It won't print anything in that condition, right?
It will not print anything. Why? This is a
Because
negate operator, right? It will.
Correct. It first negates from false to true, then again not true is false.
Okay. And if I make it false, then
If it is not true, now it will print.
it will print what? Kabir, what do you say? Will it print negate in action or not?
It will print.
It will print. Suppose if I do this,
If you true, it won't print.
Yes.
it won't print.
Yeah.
Let us see. Let's see. So, what about the other guys, Sunil? What it will do? It will print or not? This statement, negate in action. Sunil?
I think they said yes or no, so basically I'll pass or wait. So.
I couldn't hear. I don't understand. What is your answer? Will it print or not?
I'm saying somebody said yes, somebody said no. So I'm mostly kind of this point.
He said yes. Somebody said no. But
so
what you are saying?
I would say no.
It is not going.
I'm looking at the.
Okay.
I'm looking at opening all these brackets. It's operator precedence or something.
Okay. Yeah, we'll come to that, but okay. We'll come to precedence and associativity. That is fine. Oh, run as single selection. Sorry. Okay. Now it is not printing, right? So Sunil raised one thing, the precedence. Yeah, that is we are going to cover when we will cover the operators in general. But the precedence will tell which operator is taking the priority over the other operator. But here we have a single operator, negate, and then we have this operator that is equals, right? But on top of this, if you have brackets, parentheses, then this is the higher precedence. So first the inner bracket will solve, and then the outer bracket, that way it will work. Okay. So this is about if else. Now suppose I have something called a simple logic, right, which is just taking the marks student marks it is taking, right? It can take from input device or it can come from web or whatever, right? Some marks are there. Let's say his marks are 76, okay, in some subject. But based on the marks, we have to display the grade of a student, and we have certain criteria. The first criteria is that if marks are less than 30 basically, then he is fail, right? If somebody is getting less than 30 marks, then he is fail. If the marks is greater than 30 and less than equal to 50, he is kind of pass, okay? And if marks greater than equal to or greater than equal to 50 and less than 70, then he is average. Pass, he is pass, but he is an average student. And something like that. If greater than equal to 70 and less than equal to 85.
Actually, on the
Hello?
conditions, is it greater than equal to sign? Equal to sign, you have to put it before 50.
Yeah. The difference. Okay. Just 1 second, I will tell you. This is average and this is good. And if the marks greater than 85, he is excellent, right? These are some of the criteria here, right, which we have to just validate against the student marks. Now, to validate this, we need a relational operators. Let us touch upon the operators also, because this is the next topic. But let us touch, because both are like jolted together. So we have relational operators which are like greater than equal to, less than equal to, right? These are the operators. So the difference between greater than and greater than equal to, like greater than is just exclusive, and greater than equal to or less than equal to is inclusive of that value also. When I say less than equal to 50 means the marks are less than 50 or equal to 50, but not greater than 50.
Right.
So it is including 50 also. On the other hand, if I say marks less than 50, then the marks can be from 0 to 49, but not 50. Getting my point? So it is, we use these operators just to define the range. If I say marks less than 30, then you are fail.
Less than or
If
equal
marks,
to 30, right? Less than or equal to
no,
30.
let's say less than equal to. I mean, it's just a program. It's less than equal to 30, then you are fail. So here what I am doing, I am including 30 also. Starting from 0 to 30, if you have, you are fail. Now these things are there. Okay, let me create this into a different program, so to make more understandable. I will use the scanner also, right? Let's say grade, student grade. I'm just giving a short name, stud grade. Okay. Yeah. So we have this condition, right? Now what we have to do, we have to just copying this function, main function. So don't have to write it again. Stud grade. Okay. So what I want that the program should ask user to input, enter the marks, and then it basically try all these condition and finally tell that what is the answer, right? What is the grade basically? Fail, pass, or what is the result? Enter the marks, and then I have here one class called what is this? Okay. Scanner into the Java util. So I can use the scanner. Just take the input.
Should we not import scanner, or is it okay?
Sorry, what is that?
Should we not import the scanner on the top? Oh, you already did. Sorry, my bad. I didn't check that. Sorry.
Yeah. So it is in Eclipse. Whenever you type any class name, it will automatically import. You don't have to worry about it.
Ashish, one question here.
Yes.
In that import statement, you could as well have written as java.util.star. That would have also worked, right?
Yes, okay.
Yes, that will also work, but that will import all the util classes.
Okay, we don't want that.
All the util classes. Yeah, I mean, we don't want to load the program in all those classes.
Okay.
So we are just using the scanner.
Okay.
So let us. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see that before. When you type scanner, it automatically appeared. Okay, maybe Eclipse also. That's what it is.
Yeah, it will come automatically.
Okay, that's helpful. That's what I was talking about.
Okay. System dot in
right.
So this, just bear with me for this statement. I will explain this when we will do the input-output programming. This is related to the input-output. Actually, it is saying that use this standard input stream, and the scanner object is just wrapped around it. So whenever you are typing anything to the input device, it will simply read it into the scanner object, and then you can get that thing. Like suppose we need a marks, right? So I'll say that scanner dot next dot what is that? Next int. So it will return me the integer which you will type on the input device. Okay. Now after getting the marks, what we have to do, we have to check all these conditions. So what I can say here is, if the marks if the marks greater than or equal to 85, then it is excellent, right? Okay. If it is greater than 85, then the grade would be excellent.
System footprint.
Right? Now, I have only one statement here. After this if, I have only one statement. So I am not putting the curly braces. Else. So we have seen if else, single if, also here it is the combination. It is else if. You can write another condition here. If the marks, now we have checked for 85, we have to come if the marks are less than 80, less than equal to 85, right? And we don't have to write and here, but for and we have this double ampersand. Okay. If marks are less than equal to 75 or and or basically write in this way so it will make more sense. And if it is greater than equal to 70 and marks less than equal to 85, that will make more sense, right? What I have to
Yes.
do,
Average.
I need to do this thing.
Average. Okay.
Good or average, right?
Okay. Yeah. Good. Okay. 70.
Basically, this is else if. So the interesting thing is here is this is a normal if else, but we are writing in this way. So if I have only one statement and if, so no need to put any braces. After else, right? In the else, I have this thing, else if, and in case of if, again one statement is there, so no need to put any braces. Getting my point? But to make it more readable, what I can do here is simply pull it up. Now again, if more than one statements are there, then yes, probably we'll have to put this. Again, if, else if. So if you see this if is a part of this else, and this else is a part of this if. But in writing, if we are writing in this manner, then it is making more sense, isn't it? So the next condition is like 50 and less than equal to 70.
Mr. Ashish,
Yes?
sir, what's the difference between then else and else if? Because for example, if I put just only else, then what will happen?
See, difference is like you have seen this thing, right? If and else. What if else is saying that if some condition is there, if this is evaluating to true, then run the enclosing statement of if block.
Right.
On the other hand, if the condition is false, go into the else block and run the respective statements.
Correct.
Now when I am coming to the else block, my statements are like again if. I don't have a normal statement. What I am doing, I am imposing another condition. I can do that, right? So it is a nested if else. Inside else you can have if, again if. For that if you will have else. For that else you will have if. So that way you can create a chain. If else, whatever. Till whatever level you want, you can do that. The only thing what we have to keep in mind is, if we are not putting a braces, then the rule says that for a if or for a else, if you have only one statement, then you can omit the curly braces. If I have to write this in a proper format, then I will be writing in this. As I said, it is good for readability. So there is no if, else if. It is just the convention.
Got it. Got it.
Would it be easy if you have switch here? I'm just asking.
Yeah, it would be easy to having a switch, but we can do the similar thing with if else also.
Yes.
So it is like this. If you use the indentation and just split into the different lines.
Okay, readability point is good.
Right? Yeah, it is a common confusion also, like So people think that yeah, there is a else if also, but there is no else if, right? The last condition is greater than equal to less than equal to 70 and then greater than 30.
Oh, yes.
And then less than equal to what is that 50. Then he is just a pass. And before that he was average and now he is pass. And the last case is else. There, if he is less than 30, then he is a fail. Correct?
Yeah.
So we can run this and we can see. Enter the marks. Let's say 45. 45 is pass or fail? He is pass because he is less than 30. Enter the marks. 23. Fail. Okay. Now suppose if else if it is clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is up to you. You can create the nested structure up to whatever level you want. And yeah, if you will see the real world this thing software, there it's a like a mess of if else, while loop, this and that. So many things are there. Now we will talk about the loops.
One question I have
I
before.
am creating one. Yeah, please tell me.
I'm saying I saw that scanner. Is that a method when you said next in the scanner input?
Next int, yes.
Oh,
It's a method of scanner class.
Okay.
It is just reading an integer from your input device,
Okay.
from your keyboard basically. What I said, this scanner and IO related capabilities we will cover later, because if we'll go into this direction it would be
So
difficult,
suppose
right, to understand at this point.
I know. I'm saying my question was that you declared an int. We declared something called marks as a variable, so that input is going into marks, is it?
Yes, yeah. We are just reading the input and then storing into the
Okay. That's
variable, and then we are evaluating this variable.
okay, gotcha.
Yes, John, you were saying
one more
something?
question.
Yes.
Yeah, in that scanner.nextInt, if instead of entering 23, you said 23.7, but it will still store only 23?
There is a float, right? Next float.
Yeah.
If you are okay, let's try this.
Next double, I saw somewhere. Next double or something.
It will throw an exception.
Okay. Thank you.
Because if you are reading a decimal value, so you need to use next float.
Next, okay.
Yeah, next float.
And on that basis, you need to change the type also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, no problem. So I'm just undoing this. So if anybody wants this program, I can paste on the paste Ubuntu, right? That they will show this thing.
Yes, please. I think last time that was useful.
Okay, no problem. We'll do it at the last. Now let's go for a loop. We have three kind of loops here. I hope the loop is like just to repeat the statement more than one time. Yeah, more than one time or whatever times you want. Now suppose this is the program. I just want to put this program into a loop so that I should be able to check this not for only one student. Whatever students I have, I should be able to check for everybody, right? Okay, so enter the marks. But now here the point comes that is it a controlled loop or it's a loop which is based on some condition and the condition comes from the input. Controlled loop means like it is going to be run for let's say 10 times or 20 times or whatever n number of times. And when I say it is based on the some input condition, that means the user is giving the exit condition, right, to close this loop. So uh, uh, for this exercise, let us consider this is a controlled loop. So what I am doing here, I am creating a marks here, just creating a variable so that we can read inside, and technically we need to repeat this particular logic always. I need to read the marks from the input device, then based on the marks need to print the grade, right? Okay, how many times I have to run this? I have to run this almost 5 times, let's say. I'll first define a variable called loop counter, and let us use first the for loop. For loop is saying that you initialize the counter first. In this case, I have initialized already, so let me do it here. For loop, then how many times you have to run it? I have to run it 10 times, and then every time what I have to do, I have to increment the loop counter by 1. So ultimately how it will look like, it will look like this way, or 10 is also more, so let us run 5 times. Okay, no problem. 5 times we have to run this loop. So what is the syntax for the for loop? For loop says that you have to have the controlling counter, and that counter should be an integer always. It cannot be a double or float. Then you have to initialize. Actually, if you see, the for loop has 3 statements. Right? These 3 statements are there. The first one is the initialization statement, which is initializing your control counter. Second is the condition, which evaluates how many times it will run. Or in the other word, we should say this loop will be continue running until unless this condition is true. If it is false, then it will break or it will finish. So the logical condition. And then you have the counter maintenance. I am saying maintenance because here it's a simple loop. What we are doing here is just incrementing it, right? It may be a combination of counters, or here this is a simple condition which is saying if loop counter is less than equal to 5. It can be a complicated condition too. So here what you are doing, counter incrementing or counter decrementing or whatever you are doing with the controlled this loop counter. So what I am saying, counter maintenance. Oh. Okay, so let us run this thing, how it will run. It is asking the marks. First time 56, then it is an average. Then 34, it is a pass. 67, average. 89, excellent. And 21, fail. After that, finish. Yeah? So it is running how many times? 5 times. Whatever input you are giving, based on that it is just showing the grader. So this is the for loop. Now, this thing what we have done here, we can do it here also. I have initialized it. So this we can remove. But this semicolon we cannot remove because the for loop syntax is saying the first statement would be the initialization statement. Whether you write it here or outside of the for loop. But the placeholder, the empty statement indication should be there. That is semicolon. Right? And this next thing, this loop counter is equal to loop counter plus 1. This also we can remove and we can put it here actually if we want. But again, okay, for this actually we don't have any indication, right? Because this is a semicolon finishing of the second statement. The third statement, nothing is there, so it is okay. But here we have to put this. So if I just remove all this comment, then you can basically see in the clear picture or maybe in one line. Oh shit. Yeah, it will look like something like this. Initialization I am doing it here, I am just checking the condition here and incrementing it here. If I run this, then is it running to the same output? Yeah, I think it's running to the same output. Yeah, done 5 times. Right? Suppose if you don't provide this also, then what will happen? Initialization is there, incrementing is happening, but there is no condition.
Infinite loop.
Yeah, this will become infinite. You probably have to close the program by terminating it. It will not stop. See this. I am just providing the input. It is just giving me. If I have to terminate, then I need to close this thread. Then it will terminate. Yeah. So this is a for loop. Now similarly we have do while loop. Okay, I am just putting this as a comment so that we can use the same code for do while loop also and while loop also. Somebody was asking that what is the difference between while loop and for loop. There is no difference. Technically there is no difference. The loop counter is there and while loop does not allow you to initialize anything here. It is just saying that check the condition here and do the increment inside that. So we can convert the for loop into while loop if we want, right? So I have all these statements. If I uncomment these statements, I say this the loop counter is already initialized. Less than equal to 2 means it will run 2 times and it is incrementing. There is no difference. Then why we have for loop and while loop? It is just to maintain the semantics sometimes into the programming. Actually, what happens when you have the requirements, right? You gather the requirement and you try to convert those requirements into the programming construct. Okay. So sometimes it is easy to say that run these statements for 10 times, right? When this statement is coming, run these statements for 10 times, then what you are thinking, okay, the for loop is good here. And for loop is also good for mathematical kind of situation where you need the initialization, the condition and the increment, decrement, everything in a single line, right? Whereas somewhere if you are saying that, okay, run this until this is not false, then you can go for a while loop. Actually in Unix, there is until loop also. Until is there a replacement of while. So that's why we have different constructs. But if you see logically, both are equal. It is up to the programmer which one he likes more, or the kind of approach what you are using to map your requirement to convert those requirements into actual programs. What approach are you? Some of the processes like UML and those processes, you have to figure out the nouns and verbs in your requirement gathering. So nouns will become the classes and verbs will become the methods, something like that. So there are different saying about all this. What we are following, that matters. Okay, so but one thing is common between these two loops is before entering into the loop you have to check the condition, right? It's an infinite loop, so not a problem, but here you have to condition before entering into the loop. If we have to make this loop an infinite loop, the simple fact is that you can say 1. Oh, sorry, not 1. True. It's a Java, right? It's not C. Because this particular block in for loop and in the while loop, this is a difference. This block you need to provide some value here, like while true. While true means like it is true. So you simply run it infinitely, no problem, because nothing, nobody is breaking also inside. We'll talk about the break statement, right? And okay, now let me put the break also in picture. Now what I say, if the loop counter is equal to 3, then break. So what break will do? Break will just stop the execution of the loop and it will come out. The control will come out and it will come here, and whatever statements are here, it will run those things. Means after the loop. Suppose I am saying here that print after loop. Today I am going to give some exercises also. Those are based on if, else and loop. I hope you people will enjoy. Okay, so my finite loop is there, but my breaking condition is also there. And please notice, break is the only statement. So this statement is outside of your if block, right? I didn't put the curly braces. If I run this now, so it is asking marks. 3 times it will run. or it is running 4 times? Can somebody explain why it ran 4 times?
Well, true.
Yeah, because the counter initialized is 0 actually. So 0 to 3 means 4 times, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yes.
The first time it came 0 not equal to 3 is 0 plus 1, 1, 2, 3. So that time, that way it is running 4 times. Now, it may also happen that we need to try something, and if it gets works, then we need to repeat that logic. This is the situation, right? We have to try something, and if that gets work, then we have to repeat that logic, and that situation we can get to do while loop. I'm making this as a comment. Okay, what I'm telling here is need to put a semicolon. What I'm telling here that do execute all these statements and then check condition. If condition is true, then continue, go again. If condition is false, let's say is equal to -1. Since our loop variable is there, which is initialized with 0, right? What I'm saying here, while loop is equal to -1, so this condition will become true if the loop counter is -1. If not, then it will not repeat these statements again, it will come here. Correct?
Yeah.
But anyway, we are running all these statements at least one time, and this was our scenario. Try to run these statements one time, and if the condition match or condition gets true, run it again, something like that. This is our situation. So do while loop is giving you the assurance that at least one time your statements will work. The next time it depends on the condition, and this is a good use case where you are getting the input related to the repetition of the loop from the user. We'll see that. Let us first run this and we can do that. Okay, enter the marks 12, and after that he is a fail, and after that after loop, because the condition did not match, right? Now what I say here is my scanner object is there, right? I say one more variable I am going to create here, that is called choice, right? The value is 0, for example, and then what I'm telling here is, oh shit. See, always try to make the code simple and clean, right? And try to give some of these spaces in between the lines also. Oh, that is already there. No need to create actually. No need to create choice. Otherwise, scanner is already there, right? Okay. Enter the marks. And here I am giving one statement, and what I am saying to this thing is that please enter -1 to exit, right? Now suppose if marks is equal to -1, then what I have to do here is break. I need to get out from the loop immediately, no need to do anything. Otherwise evaluate the marks and do. Now we have to change this condition also. Oh, marks. Condition is marks not equal to -1. So the operator what we are using, like equal to, not equal to, right? These are the operators which we can use. Greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, and other operators we have like plus, minus, slash, and mod operator. We'll talk about the operators, but just to give you a brief about that. Okay, in this loop, the exit condition is coming from the user. You are asking them to enter the marks for evaluation, but at the same time you are informing them that if you want to exit, then please enter -1. Until unless you are not entering -1, this program will continue. So let's say I say 56, 67, then it's an average student, okay. 90, 98, so very good, okay, very well. And now, okay, -1, then it is coming out, right? It is coming out. So the break statement will just break the loop. Break is basically used with the loop and switch statement also. Now this logic is fine, it is okay, but this is not very clean actually, right? I mean, we have all this thing. If clean in the sense like we have to put if, else, if, that is fine for this kind of situation where we have a range. So we can apply the logical operators and it is fine, right? If we have a different kind of scenario, let's say okay, I have a class called control statement menu. This is the control statement menu. What I want, that this should give me the option. The first one you want to learn about if else, second one you want to learn about do while, third one you want to learn about for loop, fourth one you want to learn about break, something like that, right? So what I'm looking at, that I should get an input from the user, and that input should match some command, right? But how the user will come to know that this input is going to match a command? We will have to let them know that, okay, these are the commands which are available and these are the switch or the input which you can use to invoke those commands, right? So the situation at control statement level, suppose if the input is coming into some variable called choice. By the way, one thing about the JDK 1.7, for the string arguments you can write like this also. Or this one. I have 7, right? Oh, not that way, but yeah, you can write like this also from JDK 1.7. But all these things are there, but people are hardly, I mean, there is still enterprise is stick to JDK 1.6. You don't want to upgrade to 1.7 or 1.8 for that matter. There are a lot of issues and fight is going on. Okay, so here what we are going to create a menu first. So what I'm going to do here is, like, I have a choice. This will store the choice, right? Initially choice is 0. The initial choice is 0, right? What we want that user should see the choices first, and after that he decides what he has to enter. And if he doesn't want to execute anything, he can simply say that yes, exit. So okay, this is control statement menu, for example, right? Learn about if else. Second, learn if else if, something like this. Learn for loop and while loop. Do while loop with break, right? And the last option is exit. Okay, and before that we have this uh, scanner scan object. Oh shit. Then we have this one also. System dot in, right? Okay. Input string. Oh, what is the error? New business. Okay. Now the choice is coming. Choice is equal to, we can say this, that scanner object dot next int. Now based on the choice, we have to provide matter to all the commands. The first approach is like you check the choice. If choice equal to 1, then do something. Else if choice equal to 2, then do the next step. And if choice is equal to 5, then break it. This is one approach. We can use if else, not a problem, right? The second thing is we can use switch case also. You put choice in a switch block, and then you define the cases. Case 1, right? And what we have to do in case 1, we have to here curly braces are not required. Learn about if else. Correct? This is what other things will be there you can do. Maybe you can call some function from here or something like that, which will have matter related with choice number 1. And after that you have to break. We'll talk about the other thing when we don't have to break it. Choice 2 or case 2 basically. Then case 3, 4, and last is 5. Now break is important. And here we have one more that is called a default case. If nothing is there, then this will execute. Just for indication purpose, I am writing the choice number, not writing all the content again, right? Default. Okay. So things are fine, but in case of if else, if my choice is equal to 5, right? So what I will do, I will say break. So when I will say break, then it will break from the while loop. But in this case, a break is like after every case I need to break. This is a syntax of switch. Case 3, case 4, case 5, right? And the default also, no need of break actually for default. So where the actual break will be effective. In case of switch case, this break will only take you out of this block, and again you will be here, somewhere here, and you have a true condition, that is an infinite loop. What it will do, it will again send back to you the starting of the loop. So in case of switch case, your termination will not happen. This break is just breaking from switch block. Here we need to check an additional condition too. If the choice is equal to 5, then break, right? Okay, let us try to run this. Actually, I should ask you, just leaving this part, but not a problem. This is my menu. 2, then it is giving me this learn about if else 2. This is the logic which I have written for case 2. 4 is giving 4. 5, learn about if else, and program is gone. It is terminated. Okay, what about if I remove these breakpoints? What will happen?
It will fall through, right? No.
Yeah, it will. But suppose if I give a choice 2, then what would be the output? if a choice is 2,
Correct.
see, if you remove the breakpoint, the moment
It will print
connects to a particular
twice.
case,
It will print twice, right? It will print once for the 2 and once for default.
once for default also.
Yes.
If the choice is 2, then
Yes.
Anybody else? John is saying if the choice is 2, from the second and third case, we have removed the breakpoint. Now, John is saying it will print twice the learn about if else second and the learn about if else default. Kabir, what do you say? How many times?
Sir, I can actually barely see because my laptop charge went wrong. I actually the phone, but I think it's going to be twice.
Your laptop, you can't see the screen.
Yes, sir. It's very tiny actually because I'm seeing from my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot my actually charger at the actual office.
Okay. What about you, Sunil?
I can make out. I have to just guess, but I'll pass or listen.
All pass. How many times? I mean, what are the things which you'll get?
I have not followed the logic here, but I have to just guess, but I'll wait for your answer.
Okay. Okay. Ahmed, you are there? Or how to pronounce this? This is Ahmed, right? Anwar Ahmed or Ahmed? Are you there? Okay. Okay, let us run this and see what happens. It is not going to print. Huh? So if I give a choice 2, then what happens? It is printing learn if else about 2, 3, 4, and then it is breaking. It is printing 3 times. See this. It is printing here, here, and here. So, if the break statement is not there in any case, okay, and suppose if that case gets selected from the switch block, what will happen? It will just fall back until unless it is not getting a break statement. So it will run all those cases. In this case, what happened? We did not have the breakpoint at case number 2, case number 3, right? So if you are giving a choice 2, it will print this. It does not get any break regardless of the input choice. It will execute the case number 3 and then it will come to the case number 4. Finally, it will get a break. Then it will going to get a break. Default will be executed only when if the choice is out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right?
Okay. Yeah, got it.
But suppose if I put 3, then what will happen? It will print only twice. Because once for 3 and 4.
4.
Now, if I have a choice number 7,
Then
it will print once, only once, and that is only for default, right?
Yes.
Okay, now suppose I don't have break anywhere. I don't have break. Sunil, is that clear for you?
Yes.
Okay. From case 1 to case 5, there is no break at all. Right? Now I run this. After running, I'm going to ask again. Okay. Now suppose if I give the choice, say 4, what will happen?
Can you repeat the question, sir?
The question is, now there is no break point in any case. Okay. From 1 to 5, there is no break point. Only cases are there. And then, what I'm saying, let me put a choice that is 4. I'm going to input here the choice as 4. Now, before hitting the enter, just wanted to know what would be the output. Any guesses?
4, 5, and then for the default.
4, 5 and default. This is a John answer. What about you, Kabir?
Actually, sir, same like John answer 4, 5 default.
Yeah, I think so. 4, 5 default because the break is out.
So let's go with the community. Let's enter 4. And that is correct. So the many situations are there where switch and case is good to have, but yes, certainly in this situation we need to do a lot more work to make it work, right? Just to put break and all. Now suppose we have learn about if else, learn if else if. So if you see first and second case kind of related, right? Because they both are talking about if else. So if what I want that either I input case 1 or case 2, in both cases it should run. Now I have case 1 and case 2. If technically, if suppose we will have a function here which is teaching about if, else, if and whatever, then for case 1 and case 2 the same function should get called, right? And suppose I have a break also, let's make it proper. But what I'm saying, like we can combine the choices here by putting the cases like this, case 1, case 2, case 3, we can do that. Now for case 1 and case 2, we have only one statement which will talk about, learn about if else, else if. Okay. For case 3, we have this. For case 3 and case 4 also kind of related to the loop. We can say, okay, like case 3 and case 4, learn about the loop. And then case 5 is like exit. No need to learn, just exit. And this is a break. And default is like that. So we can also combine the cases in this way. So suppose I have a case 1, so I will get the same output. If I have a case 2, then also I will get the same output, right? Because it is matching both the cases. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, I think that's it for today. Tomorrow we will explore operators more and more, and we'll talk about this thing, methods in general. We have created the methods, but those methods are very simple. What we have created, we'll see how we can create the methods properly. We'll talk about the keywords, and if time permits, we will talk about the array also. But the exercise, what I'm looking from your side, your side is that you try this case, switch case with char and string. From JDK 6 JDK 7, JDK 1.7, switch accepts string also. So basically, you will have a string here, and that is coming some string variable. Let's say arg, right, or arc, whatever, my choice. Okay, or let's say you have a month, and you have to convert that month into a number format. Means you are asking user to give input the month as a string, January, February, or right, and then you want to change the month into the according to the respective number. January would be 1, February would be 2, something like that. So in that case, what you will go, suppose I have a March here, right? What I'll do for the case one, or we'll use shorthand just to make it simple. I have a March here. I'll put ARC here and then Jan. Feb. And month value. It is required, right? Most of the times you have some string, but you need to have the related integer value or some number on based on that. This way you can write. See, the switch case, what we are using here, nobody is stopping us to use the if else. But again, it is one construct which is there in the language, and some of the scenarios are there where it makes the logic more readable, right? But it is again the programmer choice what they want to use. Ultimately, output should come, and that should be proper. What is this? Duplicate case. Where is it duplicate? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How it is duplicated? Oh, here also we have okay. And likewise the other. So we have September, October, November, until December. It can be a requirement in the software where you need to get the respective value as per your string text, right? I am going to run into a new switch case string. New file. Case January. So why it is giving all these errors? Any idea about this? I-
Switch string.
Here you see it is not giving any error, right? But when I pasted into the other file, it started giving me errors.
Into the
To some weird error token expected after this token. What is this? Any idea? See, if you yeah, let me know.
Type mismatch, etc.
Yeah, it is saying type mismatch. It is not able to convert a string to Boolean or something like that. And syntax error on token case, assert expected.
Did we close the body there? Switch off.
Body seems closed. Yes.
Oh,
Closed. Here it is closed.
okay, yes, done. Class.
See, we have just copied and pasted directly inside the class. We cannot
Save it.
run these. Yeah, we need a function. Right?
Oh,
The statement should run inside the function. For this, there is nothing, no problem, because it's a member. This is also a member, but after that,
this public static void.
Yeah, the public static void main is required. So let us copy this public static void main. Put here. Now after default, you put this. Again, the error is there. Why the error is again there? Sabir, why the error is still there?
Don't know, sir.
Don't know.
No, in
No, sir.
this public, you have to create a new object of switch case string and then access the arc, switch arc. Am I right?
Correct.
Do we have to
What is
create?
What is the other way?
Make it static?
Yeah, absolutely correct, John.
Huh?
So either we have to create an object of this. Yeah, that is correct. You are correct.
Okay.
Either we have to create the object of this class, or we have to make both the. Because I didn't put the cursor here. Otherwise, you could see this. Cannot
Okay.
make a static reference to the non-static field.
Okay.
Right? Just spoke about the static. So this is gone. Similarly, we have to put it here. All monthly variables, whatever variables are there.
Hey, hey.
Can you please mute the phone? This is the default. Now it is ready. Only thing we need to run this, right?
Yes.
That means need to print the value of month variable. So what should be the value?
Object.
No, what value it will print?
With that 3.
Yeah, because we are just doing this match with the March. It will print. Yeah. Okay, so that way we can basically use strings also with the switch case, which was not possible before JDK 1.7. If you are running JDK 1.6, if you try to do this, you will get an error because strings are not possible in switch case in JDK 6 till JDK 6. You are now host of this meeting. Okay. So yep. So we are done for today. Tomorrow we'll talk about the wrapper classes. We'll talk about the operators. We'll talk about the method, and we'll talk about some of the keywords. Like we have seen most of them, but yeah, we'll talk about more. And one thing which is remaining from control statement is the continue statement. The break we have seen, we have to see the continue also. So we'll talk about continue also. I just leave it intentionally so that tomorrow we can also go over with some control statement related exercise. Any questions so far?
I want to question, since we have discussed all this control statements, etc., is there a best practices or is there some thumb rules as to when to use while or to use this switch case in Java?
Sir, I think give us a homework as well. It will be better then to understand.
Homework I will give it, no problem. But to give the answer to Sunil's question, so you are asking about the best practice of using for loop and do while loop or something like that?
Yeah, how to make a decision whether to use for or I know some basic stuff, but I'm saying in your experience, is there anything that say you pick up a problem?
Correct. So yeah. So see, it works in this way, like the for loop and the while loop, as I said earlier also, when you are reading the requirement, right, and when you are converting those requirements into the actual implementation code. So by the time, if you are encountering a repetition logic which is saying it should repeat for n number of times, or it should happen for some, if there is some fixed value, right? If the control counter is fixed, the loop counter basically, if it is fixed to some infinite value, basically finite, not infinite, then you can go for a for loop directly, where you know the initialization, condition, and those things at hand. On the other hand, if you don't know the values when it will, or if it is coming inside the requirement, that it should run until, if this word encounters until, then you can go for a while loop. But in general, we go with a for loop when we have to highlight the initialization, the condition and the increment, decrement, the maintenance of the counter variable in a single statement. Then we go for a for loop. Otherwise, we always go with the while loop because it's concise, right? You just have to write while and condition. That makes sense. And the maintenance of the counter variable is happening inside the loop somewhere. Maybe it is dependent on some condition and all. But again, technically, there is no difference between these two loops, right?
Yeah, I got it.
It's a matter of just obeying some kind of procedures when you are doing the requirement analysis. Any other question?
Thanks.
No, that would be it.
So now you people know the loop, right? Okay. You know this thing also, if else and switch case. Great. So what I want to do, I want you to create a program which should give me this particular output. The first exercise. And please don't try to copy from Google or somewhere, right? You will get the answer easily. But if you try to do by your own, then it would be good. Suppose based on input n. Now suppose if n value is 4, right? Then we should see something like this. The pyramid actually. So if n is equal to 4, we should see this. Accordingly, you can do that. For n is equal to 5, 6. Okay. So basically, if n is equal to 4, then 1, 2, 3. 3 spaces and then a star. The next line. The next line is 1, 2, 1, and then I don't any star. So this is exercise number 1. And then you have this. If you are able to do that, then I'm sure you can do this also. This is for n is equal to 4. If you are able to do these two exercises, I mean the first one, this is just the loop based. Okay. And the second exercise is very simple, but it needs a lot of if else and those conditions, and it also needs the mod operator, how to use mod operator. Since I did not tell you the mod operator, that's why I am thinking whether to give this exercise or not. But okay, I'm not giving this one. What about the other exercise? Okay, I think you've come up with this one. This one is good. If you can do this, then it would be great. Right? These are the pyramids which you need to create based on the loop. So it will use the if else, break, continue, and use this thing also, loop also. Yeah, the second one is uh, write a program to calculate the the factorial. 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 You know about factorial? How it works? Factorial of input number. Now suppose if number n is equal to 4, then the factorial would be 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. This would be the factorial. If n is equal to 6, then factorial would be, factorial is equal to 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. Something like this. Okay? Okay, let us try this also. I hope you use some of the help, and tomorrow we will clarify this. You ask user convert the number into words. Say for example, if I enter 1, 6, 2, 3, then I should see the output 1000, 600, 123. Write a program to swap the two numbers. So ask user to enter x is equal to some number, then y is equal to some number. The output should be x is equal to 4 and y is equal to x is equal to 7, y is equal to 4. But you don't have to use any other variable to do this swapping. Means, it is very easy, right? You ask the user x, y, and then you create a temporary variable, let's say t. Okay. So you can say like t is equal to x is equal to y, and y is equal to t. Because you need a placeholder just to hold the intermediate value. Otherwise, it will override. So what you have to do, you don't have to use any variable to do this while you are swapping. Is that okay? See, this exercise needs a mod operator. Mod operator is nothing but is the reminder operator. If I say 9 mod 4, then what would be the result? 1. Because 4 to the 8 and the reminder would be 1. So it returns the reminder always. Using mod operator, you need to do this. Or if you can do some other way, then that would be great. So we are good. I hope you have note all these exercises, or I'm going to share the exercises on this bin. Yes. Google is very slow. What is this? Okay. Paste the 2. I can't believe it. Google is very slow compared to the other website. Oh, it's so slow. Oh, yes. No. Okay, here is the link. You can download all the exercises. Yes. So have a very good night to all of you. I'll see you tomorrow.